Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today I'm going to talk about how we should categorize our credit cards. Because if you start to get a lot of them, if you're deep into this hobby, then you're managing 10, 15, 20, up to 30 or more credit cards at a time. And you may be running a spreadsheet like I do, where you're trying to figure out which ones you're going to keep, which ones you're going to cancel, what you're actually going to use them for, because you can't carry 30 credit cards with you in your wallet, and even your wallet on your phone is going to get heavy, and you'll have to scroll through so many of them every time you check out. So really, you got to have some kind of system or some kind of means of determining this card kind of falls into this bucket and this card kind of falls into this bucket. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you would, please hit the like and subscribe button, and let's look at it. All right, when it comes to my credit cards, I really have 4 different categories of how I see them. And the first one is going to be rather obvious. They're wallet cards. That's what I'll call this category, the wallet cards. Wallet cards are truly keeper cards. These are cards that have good multipliers, so you're going to actually use them for spend when you're not using a card that has just simply a sign-up bonus. And always, of course, your first and foremost card, unless it's a small sign-up bonus and you know you're going to be able to hit it easy with just like your general spending category, then you're going to use that card for everything, especially if you're like working on a really big one with, say, American Express, and you know you got $10,000 in spend in 3 months, or 15 or 20,000. Well, you're just going to put everything on that card. So at those times, really at the top of your wallet is going to be whatever card you're working on the bonus, regardless of what category it is. So of course, the ones you're working on sign-up bonus really don't fit into any of these because you got to get the spend done. But apart from that, this category of wallet cards are cards long-term that if you're not working on a sign-up bonus, these are the cards that are your daily drivers. These are cards that you use when you're dining out. Maybe you have one card for that you use for gas. Maybe you have another card for that. Cards that you use for general spending, kind of your catch-all card. And this could consist of 2, 3, 5, 6 different cards, because you might have better multipliers in different categories. But basically, these are cards you actually spend on regularly in major categories. So these would be your wallet cards, and they're keeper cards. You're gonna have them for a long, long time until at some point you might replace one with something if it comes out that's better. So you might have a card that's got 5x on gas. Well, if in the future another great card comes out that's got 6x on gas, well, suddenly that card might be shifted to a different category because you might get the 6x card. So you understand wallet cards. The second type of card that I'm going to talk about are what I'll call desk cards. Desk cards. Now, what I mean by that is these cards are also keeper cards, so you're going to keep them long term because they have some specific benefit or benefits that are going to help you out long term. So they make it worth paying the annual fee or whatever, but you don't use them no matter what on a day-to-day basis. And there's a lot of cards like this. Like, for instance, we have a card that gives us a credit back on one of our streaming memberships. But this is not a card that's got any multipliers that we'd ever use anywhere else. It's a 0 annual fee card, but it gives us a credit every month. So that's a keeper card for me, and we just have that one purchase that goes on it. This is just in my desk. I mean, it's not going to be something I carry with me, but I'm going to keep it open. Another great example of this would be your hotel cards, because your hotel cards are ones that you might take with you once a year or something like that. And you know, in that situation, if you're traveling to that particular hotel to use that sign-up bonus, then, you know, you might take this card with you, but for the most part, it just sits in your desk so that it can give you that once a year free night certificate, but it's not a daily use type of credit card. And so there's really a lot of cards that fall into this. In other words, cards you're not really spending on, or maybe they're a card that you are just going to use for some specific multiplier that you can sit down and plan out from your desk. So it would be something like maybe it's got a multiplier for a specific airline, and you want to use it only when you're booking that airline. Well, you can do that from your desk. You need to have that in your wallet to do that. So you understand the idea of a desk card. Well, that brings us to the third category, and that is your backpack cards. Now, there's kind of two parts to the backpack card. A backpack card can be a card that's going to get you certain benefits when you're maybe traveling at, like we said, hotels, or perhaps when you're traveling in airports, like lounge cards. But it also could be like your travel card that you spend on only when you're traveling overseas. Now, some people, that'll be the same card that they're using in their regular wallet setup. But travel cards, the ones that go in your backpack, really you don't use on a regular basis. And it could be that you literally never spend any money on the card, except maybe to get credits back or something like that. But it's a card that you carry with you. A good example of that for me would be something like the American Express Platinum card. I think the American Express Platinum card is a fantastic backpack card. But I think it is like the most horrendous wallet card ever imaginable because it has no good multipliers. It's not even good to me as a desk card because the only decent multiplier for purchase it has is 5x on airlines, and I have another card that gives me 5x on airlines, so I'm not going to use that. So there's literally nothing I want to use that card for except like FHR to get my FHR credit, except like the Resi to get the Resi that few times a year you'll pull it out and use it. But it's a great backpack card because it gives you your lounge access. It gives you some statuses when you're flying. I mean, that's a backpack card. That's the very idea of what those are. So there's several of these. It could be one of the major airline cards that you just basically use to get into the clubs, like the American Airlines Executive Card, or maybe the United Club Card, something like that. Those would qualify kind of as a backpack card. And then the last one is, I'll simply call it a junk drawer card. These are cards that are not keeper cards. These are cards you just get for the sign-up bonus. You're going to keep them for 1 year. You spend on them until you hit that spend requirement. Then you're going to throw it in your junk drawer until the fee comes due on your statement. Then you're going to call and cancel or downgrade the card. So this card has single purpose, and that is give me the points. That's all they're about. Now, what's interesting is on rare occasion, I've had to pull cards out of the junk drawer. And of course, it's a metaphorical junk drawer. It's not a literal junk drawer. But I've had to pull them out of that and put them over in the spending category because sometimes cards get better. But I've also had to take cards from the other three categories and throw them in the junk drawer because sometimes cards get worse. Well, I'd love to know what you think of these four categories. Am I missing a category? Is there something that's, somebody might say, well, what about when you're traveling overseas? Well, I kind of count that in the backpack category, but maybe it should be its own. Can you think of any others? Please put those in the comments below. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.